solar panels dangling in the wind, ladies. It's just not a safe thing. People below may not appreciate it if you can't lose it. So you'd stick it to the side of the building like a coating.
So you've really had to educate yourself in all this solar. Did you know this much information about solar panels and solar energy before you started your business?
No, remember that little conversation we had before and I said I kind of jump into things? I knew it was going to be good. I'm a bottom line type of person. I just said, and I've educated myself along the way. And it's changed in the last few years. I mean, I can look at things that you didn't even talk about really in 2008 except as a maybe in the future thing, and now it's here.
How long have you been in business?
We opened up May of 2008.
2008. So you've been at this for a little while then.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's been a steady increase, I gather?
It's had its ups and downs. I mean, we got hit by the recession too, and I've changed the business over some to try and meet people's needs. So my goal from here is to just keep going up.
Is there a particular population that you find gravitates towards your products?
It all depends on which one. I can sit there and tell you that for some of these, this sits on my bedroom dresser. My husband is a night person, he's a night person, I'm a morning person. So this helps save my marriage in that I don't have to turn on the light when he's trying to sleep. So if you're married, I suppose, and you like lights and you don't remember to buy batteries, because that's another thing I love is that I have to put batteries on my list all the time. I still keep batteries, but this, throws the windowsill, charges up, and if I get lost, this one in particular actually has a small compass on it. And it also has these lenses, so, if me and my grand pet, I need to go search him out at night. This is for animals. Green is good for using for animals. So let's say, I don't know, maybe I'm the dog catcher and somebody's reported a bunch of cats are bothering them. I don't know what it calls for in the dark. It gets dark early here. You might not want to blind the cat and aggravate them or the animal, but you might need to see what corner they crawled into to get them out, or, anything that you're doing with any animal. This will help their eyes out. The red is for better night vision for humans. I remember my husband when he worked on the submarine. It was a requirement. You could not have a white light because it would give away their location. Our scope was up, and that was a big no-no. But you could have one of these. And you had to, because when they did their drills, it was lights out. And it was embarrassing to trip over your fellow sailors. So that's why we have the red and the green lenses.
So how long does it take a flashlight like that to recharge once it's been run down? On an optimum day, let's say.
On an optimum day, a couple of hours. I just keep putting it in the sun periodically. I've never actually ran it down, but it didn't take me very long to get them charged up. And you can feel this. It lasts my lifestyle. That's recycled aluminum.
Very nice. It has a nice feel.
So you don't feel like if you're
I
going
love
to
the
drop
color.
it.
Very girly.
It's not. Oh, it does. Yeah, this one does come in colors. The others pretty much have one. But like I said, I've seen other ones that are plastic, but the light's only going to last as long as the plastic lasts. The LEDs, they're really bright and they don't create heat. So like if you have a child that tends to touch all this stuff, remember how the old light bulbs used to get really hot and they burn? I never have to worry about that with a pet or any kids or anything like that. I don't worry about it with LEDs, just because there is no way they're going to burn themselves.
Tell us about these other panels you've got here. What are they for?
This is my favorite. It was the first one that I got. And let's see. This is like the 15 watt. It's from a company in, I believe it's Virginia. And it started out for them as a Kickstarter project. They are actually a company that makes laptop components. So this can charge a laptop. So let's say you work out in the field and maybe you're nowhere near a light source, or I can think of people that work with tools, or they have to go out and check power lines, forests. Maybe they need to write a report, or if you're in a disaster area, many of the insurance people, when they come down, like lines have been torn down. You remember our ice storm, right? How could we forget our wonderful New England ice storms? We nearly had to do our whole grid Well, if you had trees that had fallen through your house or anything like that, you have an insurance adjuster that comes to your house. What if his battery's dead and he needs to file a report, or if you need to take pictures to send anything in? Isn't it nice to kind of have a power source where you can charge up? I can remember where my cousin called me and she said, you know, I went in this restaurant and people were lining up at the restaurant. The restaurant was nice enough to let us charge our cell phones just so that they could keep tabs on when they were going to get power back. This, I can distinctly remember taking pictures with the sun through the ice the next day, because we review, for some reason my husband and I take these pictures. It was really pretty, but people didn't have power for 3 weeks, and I thought, the sun shone every day, like, you know, for at least a week after that. And this is what you need, because this will provide you at least something. It may not power everything, and then if you put more of these, it powers more stuff. So, I don't know, it just makes sense to me.
How much does something like that run for?
You know what? This, I believe, this is the Sun Volt. This is the Sun Stash. The difference is this has a more expensive battery. This is, I believe, $209.95. I left my price list over there. This will power one laptop. I want to say 10, but I'm not for sure. Smartphones and tablets, 2 or 3 of those on one charge. And what I like about it is you can tell when it's fully charged. You press
I'm
that button.
confused. That's the battery that recharges. And then the
It
battery
can.
runs your device?
You can use it with either one, but it comes, this package comes together. It's $209.
So I guess that wasn't, I didn't ask my question clearly. You wouldn't plug your computer directly into,
Oh, certainly you
you could do that.
as long as you had the power matchups correctly. This one has, the Sun Volt has I call it a changer. I'm sure you know electricity what comes in here is direct current.
I get it.
It has to be changed
So
proper
the
voltage.
battery performs that function for you so that you don't
Yeah, in
have
this
to worry
case, the
about
battery-
overloading your computer or
Right.
blowing it
Yeah,
apart.
and this matched electricity is
Right.
really not a good thing.
Okay, so that's where the battery comes in.
Yeah,
The
and
battery's charged by the solar unit, and then you plug your device into the battery.
And you can I can plug my cell phone directly into this because this one has a changer along the way. This little cord here doesn't look like much. It has a converter in it. Okay, this battery does not have a converter in it. This battery does have the converter in it, so this one doesn't have, it's like a direct one, and then the battery does all the converting for this one. And it's important for you to know that.
And that is
What kind
very
you have.
small.
It is small.
I remember
You keep
big
some-
converters that if you wanted to run something in your car and you wanted to run it, and these converters were huge. And now you're saying this
That's
is
progressed as well, apparently.
Well, you remember what phones used to look like, even the first mobile phone?
Yeah.
And they didn't do half of what these do. Yeah, it's changing. It's even changing more. And you know what's the funny thing? Adults come up with ideas, but if you look at what the things kids are coming up with to solve problems, there was a 12-year-old in Long Island. He went to camp, saw solar panels, and he's got a small backyard, so he looked at trees and kind of went, okay, this is how they do it. He invented a solar tree for his backyard for his family to use. Who does that at 12? So where are these products going to be in a couple years? I mean, probably a 15 watt's going to be less than the size of this 10 watt. Am I?
So if someone wants to find out about your company, where would they go?
Okay, you sit down to your computer and go to solarproducts.me.
Solar
Products.
Products ME.
SOLARPRODUCTS.me.
Okay, so it's the plural.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot. I don't.
Thank you. I definitely have learned an awful lot, and we need to have you back because you had mentioned your solar house, your solar dollhouse to teach children about solar products. So we need to have you back on again
Okay.
to maybe bring your house with you.
Yes, actually, I'd love to have the characters drawn up by that time, but I think we'll just let the kids use their imagination on that one.
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of neat. And I do have a book. It's it was done for kids by kids. A 14-year-old drew it up. We have characters, and I've introduced human characters. It's to kind of introduce how the sun comes in. You know, it comes from the sun. It goes to the panel, and they talk to the electrons, and kind of get things going a little bit. And your computer screen pops up with a message from the electrons. This is what we want you to do, and the kids do it.
Fascinating.
That's the best way to learn a new subject is to go to the children's section of the library first.
Somebody had told me, and the reason I had started that is if you can explain it to a 3-year-old, anybody can get it.
Exactly.
And I've been at places where I have understood stuff, and I'd hear the adults going, "How does a solar panel? What goes on inside a solar panel?" I can explain. I can roughly explain it. It's easier done on visual, but they really don't have the understanding, and I think that's why a lot of people are reluctant. Because usually when people don't understand something, they're very reluctant to try it. Back when horseless carriages came around, how reluctant were people? If you look at the old laws, the way they were written, oh my goodness, they weren't sure at all about these things. And now everybody drives one because we've gotten more comfortable with it, right?
Well, I think that's a topic for another day. So
Yeah.
on that note.
Yes, I guess that brings us to the end of another show, and we hope that you learned as much as we did. Do you have a skill or a vision that you'd like to share? Call CCTV and let Keith know. And until next time, we hope to see you in our neighborhood. And thank you, Lisa, of Solar Products ME.